Shields up, Iron Breakers. Rurikhan here, coming at you with another video, and today I'm going to be bringing you my take on the Producer Live Letter 68. I was actually not able to watch the Producer Live Letter live. I really wanted to. I actually wanted to stream the damn thing, but unfortunately, you know, they do these at 2 a.m. my time, and in order for me to do that, I would basically be sacrificing like a whole day with family and whatnot, which is... It's at this point in my life it's just not really a choice that I can afford to make, right? Everyone has their own priorities, but like staying up until 2 in the morning. And here's the thing, at 2 in the morning it would start, then be like 6 more hours to actually get into it. So we're going to be watching I'm going to be looking at the recap, which was done by, I believe, the Final Fantasy XIV Reddit team, which is always where I look when it comes to news for the producer live letters and all of that stuff. And yeah, this was like one of the arts that they've shown for the Producer Live Letter 68, and we have the awesome team here from the Final Fantasy XIV Reddit giving us you know, the lowdown on what is happening. Obviously we have translator Yoshi-p, and this is one of the community dudes. I'm sorry, I don't know everyone's names, and obviously my memory is already terrible, being 40 at this point. But yeah, as mentioned in the stream outline, the first half is going to be about the future 10 years of Final Fantasy XIV. So it looks like we'll be hearing about the plans for the next 10 years of 14 a little bit. And the second half after the break is going to be a Q&A session of Endwalker and post patch 6.0. And as was already explained many times, this will be the future 10 years of Final Fantasy XIV and not really about patch 6.1. There will be some, but not full out patch 6.1 info. As people who think today's broadcast is so major, just relax, sit back, and enjoy. I mean, that's what I'm doing. I'm sitting here with my tea. You guys should get your beverage of choice as well and get ready to just enjoy a little bit of my personal take on this information here. Also, Yoshi-p is not going to quit. This has been repeated a billion times by now. Yeah, I don't understand why people keep thinking that Yoshi-p is going to quit. I'm not sure what the reasoning is behind that, but we have the first slide here. Our journey this far, Final Fantasy XIV from 2010 through 2021. Here's one of the things, like one of the reasons why I'm even more excited now about Final Fantasy XIV, about the future of Final Fantasy XIV. One of the reasons I'm more excited about it now more than ever is because they finished the story arc, right? And this was a story arc that kind of began with 1.0, which, I mean, for those of you that know, 1.0 was not a particularly successful release, let's put it like that. There's some serious problems, and basically Yoshi-p came in. He had to fix 1.0, build 2.0 at the same time. If you guys haven't watched the No Clip documentary, I would heavily recommend that. But he basically had to fix it, and he had to reutilize the lore that was already in place from 1.0 and kind of like build this story. And if you think about the amazing work that Creative Business Unit 3, because, you know, we all say Yoshi-p this, Yoshi-p that, but I don't think that one man alone is doing this. Obviously, there's also, you know, Koji Fox, who's awesome. There's Soken, who's awesome. But even then, even behind these people, there's like a whole team of more people that are exceedingly passionate about this game, okay? There's no way that anybody's going to convince me that the team behind 14 is not passionate about the project that they're working on. But so the reason why I'm so excited about the future of this game now more than ever is because, okay, they finished the story that they set out to tell. They finished it. It's done. Finito, right? And now they get to tell their own story. They finally get to tell their own story for the first time. This is them just like, okay, now we're really going to spread our wings and fly, right? I mean, of course, they're also working on Final Fantasy 16, which I'm also super excited for. But, you know, I'm very curious to see what is going to be the next thing that is going to be coming to 14 now that they basically get to really remove the shackles of 1.0 and just like go ham. That's awesome. So, Newfound Futures, the next 10 years of Final Fantasy XIV, patch 6.0, Endwalker Q&A. Now, I'm going to be avoiding anything that is, you know, like story spoilers, stuff like that, because I've already seen at the bottom of this, there's like a big section of lore discussion and whatnot. We're not going to be going through that. I'm mostly going to be going through features and whatnot. I might do a special video talking about the lore implications and whatnot. If you guys are curious about that, maybe we'll even stream it. I didn't stream this because I'm extremely stressed for time at this point. But yeah. Then they give us this. Oh, what the hell? Okay. They gave us this art here, A Decade of Final Fantasy XIV, which is the same art that we had earlier. I love this art. Looks really good. Then we have this, which shows us over the past 11 years. Official service for 1.0 begins. Realm Reborn announced. Oh yeah, there's also development teams restructured. This was when Yoshi-p came in on December 10th of 2010. Or just December 2010, whatever. Then we have over here, Realm Reborn announced. End of an era, 1.0 service discontinued. 2.0. So basically there's a timeline of all the things that they have been working on. This is kind of just like to establish all the stuff that they've worked on. Yoshi-p remembers the classic 1.0 Final Fantasy XIV questions, and he answered, "Nightmare." Those of you who've never watched this clip, it's such a good clip. It's like someone actually asked, hey, with World of Warcraft coming up with WoW Classic, because you guys thought about doing 1.0 Classic, and you should be just like, nightmare? Do you, so Yoshi-p almost goes like, do you know what I've been through to get rid of that thing, dude? Are you crazy? You're insane. Yoshi-p still remembers how you people chanted for more difficult content only to complain too hard. Oh, this is when he started developing like the raids of Heavensward. So during Heavensward, looks like it was when they reached 5 million players. Then in Stormblood, they've reached 10 million players. Jesus Christ, like if you think about it, like look at how much the game was already grown, because a lot of people just attribute, which I don't, I think that, you know, there's obviously a huge chunk of success that they've gotten this last year on account of the fact that, you know, there's a lot of people that came over from WoW. That I think that was like one of the biggest migrations of World of Warcraft to Final Fantasy XIV. But I wouldn't say that that's like, you know, the biggest responsibility of growth for the game. You can see that the game was already steadily growing throughout each of its expansions, with Heavensward 5 million, Stormblood 10 million, and Shadowbringers 16 million. Shadowbringers being the biggest growth spurt because Shadowbringers is just so goddamn good. And now they're like at what, 25 or something? Shadowbringers launches 18 million. Actually, after Shadowbringers, then we have 20 million still during Shadowbringers, and then Endwalker launches. We reached 25 million ahead of Endwalker launch. And I'm pretty sure, like, we probably crossed over 30 million by now. I mean, they had this, if they hadn't stopped selling the game, it would have been like 35 million or something ridiculous. It's insane. Anyway, Yoshi-p still remembers about how you people chanted for more difficult content only to complain this is too hard. This, I believe, is a reference to the Alexander raids, because apparently they made the Alexander raids way too hard. It's also a valuable lesson that Yoshi-p difficulty should be adjusted where everyone can clear with any job and walk out feeling like they've achieved growth. Oh, it's actually pretty easy. Yoshi-p also remembers fondly the Robonic stream during Stormblood launch. Fondly is a word. Yoshi-p is extremely grateful and appreciates the effort poured in not only by the devs, but also the marketing and PR people for making 14 the giant it is today. The registration numbers are still increasing. Then we have this slide. Newfound futures. What we got here? The next 10 years of Final Fantasy XIV, looking towards 7.0. Advancements as solo and multiplayer RPG experience. The game's first graphical upgrade. Patch 6.0 series roadmap. See, I actually had hopes that eventually for 7.0 we could potentially be seeing like a complete engine change. That'd be awesome, but I don't think that's going to be happening. I think they're just going to refine what they have right now, but we shall see. And there's also patch 6.0, 6.x series roadmap. Future concept number 1, an even better RPG alone or with friends. This presented 2 challenges to Yoshi-p players who love Final Fantasy series but not 11 or 14 because it's an MMORPG where it's required to play with others. It's online, needed to bond with people, but communicating and relating to people is hard. Yoshi wants this MMORPG to be available to players of all needs. See, this is actually one of the things that is very weird for me. Like, we have to keep in mind, yes, I've been playing 14 since like 2019, which is coming up on 3 years now. But it's like initially, obviously, like most other people, I was a World of Warcraft player. And I did come from World of Warcraft. And it's one of the things that is still a big turnoff to me is like the way that people do Party Finder stuff, which is like, here's a macro. Boom. We expect you to know exactly what you're doing. We expect that you've watched the video before. Go. I'm not a fan of that at all. which is why it took me so long to actually get into Savage, because I like having like actually 7 other people in voice comms. Let's figure this out. Okay, you do like this, I do like that. And we are currently progressing through P3S, which has been a really, really cool experience. So, you know, it's just, I like experiencing that end game differently, I guess, because I think that most of the people that go into Party Finders, like, they'll watch a video or something, and after they watch the video, they'll be like, okay, I know exactly which role I'm supposed to do. Am I R1? Am I M1? Whatever. And I'm sorry, I'm an old man. I can't do it like that. Anyways, Yoshi-p wants this MMORPG to be available for players of all needs. Large-scale updates to the trust system, trust compatibility for all main scenario dungeons, and 4-player trials to be added in patch 6.1 through 6.5. See, I'm actually, this is something where I'm a little bit torn when it comes to, because, like, look, I did all of the dungeons in Endwalker with the trust system, and I loved it. I thought it was great. But I also realized that me doing all of the dungeons of Endwalker, especially as a tank, basically meant that a lot of people that didn't want it to do them with the trusts got shafted from me potentially doing the dungeon with them, because the way that I did these dungeons in Endwalker was basically like I was very slowly going through them and just like actually looking at every little nook and cranny and just like really taking my time and stopping in between pulls to admire little details. And obviously, you know, if you go in with people, you're expected just like go, 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 wall to wall, baby, nonstop. Let's go. It doesn't stop. And I understand, you know, both play styles, but it was good to do the dungeons first with trusts. But I'm very skeptical of introducing trusts for every single dungeon, because it is going to reduce the amount of players available to like do stuff in lower and, you know, in previous content, I feel like. So I'm a little bit skeptical by that. It's like maybe they should give people more rewards for participating with other players, or I don't know. I don't know, because I do think that trust is really good, because like especially recently I had Gaijin, he went through the whole game and he struggled on a lot of dungeons because he was playing at odd hours. He was playing in European servers on a Japan schedule. So yeah, he struggled to find people to play the game with him, so that was tough. But yeah. Patch 6.1 will make a Realm Reborn Patch 2.0 scenario duties trust compatible. So I'm assuming this means MSQ, which is something that I said should have been done a long time ago. I'm assuming he's talking about like Castrum Meridianum and Praetorium, and obviously Cape Westwind. I believe that there's even more details about Cape Westwind further ahead. And I think that makes sense, because I just hope that they put in some other type of roulette that will give people like a beefy EXP gain, like something in addition to leveling roulette, because that's essentially why people do Praetorium right now. But basically Praetorium is going to be going away. And obviously this is not optimal, because a lot of people exit out during Castrum Meridianum because the XP per time spent. It's actually quite comparable to the XP per time spent, but it just feels, if you're going to be almost AFK in a dungeon, Praetorium feels better, because it's got more moments where you can kind of like go do the dishes and whatnot, and that's why people go do that stuff. But yeah, further improvements will be made to low-level main scenario dungeons and trials. 8-player trials will not be updated at the... Oh wait, okay, 8-player trials will not be updated at this time. So sorry about that. My computer just kind of like had a bit of a crash here. But continuing onwards, 8-player trials will not be updated at this time. That's specifically about trials, not necessarily about like, you know, the actual MSQ dungeons. Those updates will be considered for 7.0 or later. It is important that they kind of streamline the stuff with older content, even though, you know, this is a very hard problem to tackle, because you have new players jumping into the game at any given point, and you basically have to decide, okay, are we just going to have like some kind of a system that is going to allow players to skip through all of this content, or are we going to streamline this content to make it a little bit more palatable depending on, you know, the type of player that is going through it? And it's a very, very tough ask. I mean, particularly like Imagine it like this. You have a friend that really enjoyed Shadowbringers and he's trying to get somebody else in the game and tell him, dude, Shadowbringers is like the best thing ever. But before Shadowbringers, they have to do Realm Reborn, Heaven's Word. And, you know, I think it's worth it to do that content. I've said it repeatedly, but at the same time, not everybody's going to feel that way. So that's something to consider. The reason why 8-player trials from Heaven's Word onwards will not be updated at this time is due to the enormous amount of workload involved as well as cost issues. Therefore, it's going to be tackled during 7.0 and beyond. Queue matching will still be involved. It's just less required. The Trust members in Realm Reborn are comprised of sub-minor Scion members who have the Echo Blessing of Light, or members from the Adventurers Guild. Due to story/lore purposes, not every NPC, the main Scion members for example, that does things off-screen will be changed to accompany you to dungeons. There might be cases where special NPCs join you in certain battles to the point of changing some story elements to accommodate, for example, Istinian joining you to fight Nidhogg, but not everything. So be cautioned when it comes to what is included. Patch 6.1, Producer Live Letter will discuss further on this. Some dungeons will also be adjusted. For instance, the floor debuff that inflicts heavy on you when you pass through Totorak, that will be removed. There will also aesthetical changes to some dungeons that was made and released in a rush. First 8-person party battle, you're a counter with Cape Westwind. It'll be removed. No! Look, dude, I saw Cape Westwind as like a rite of passage for a lot of people. When they have the stuff with the memes and whatnot, when they see the Sprout icon, they just start like placing down markers all over the place. That's awesome. Like, that happened to Gaijin. Like, somebody randomly, when I went in with Gaijin, some random dude just saw that he had a Sprout icon and starts like putting down all markers. And I was on comms with Gaijin, so I was like, dude, you have no idea. Okay, listen, this is like the toughest thing you've done so far. Like, you have no idea. So like, really, you have to stand here, and then when that thing happens, stand there, just listen to what the guy's saying. You're gonna be fine. And Gaijin's just like getting all nervous, like all hyped up. Then we go in there, and as he's about to die, I'm like, okay, get ready, because this was just like first phase. Phases 2 and 3 are gonna friggin' be ridiculous, but phase 4 and 5 is a lot easier. So I'm like, and then suddenly he just dies. It's like it's all over. It was nothing. It's just tank and spank. I thought that was really cool. Your battle with Rurikhan will be repurposed and rebuilt as a quest instance battle, no longer an 8-man trial anymore, so it's going to be just like a scenario type battle. Praetorium and Castle Meridianum will be a 4-man light party dungeon instead of 8-man dungeon. So they're not putting trusts on Praetorium and Castrum? I thought that they were putting trusts on there. That's what I understood in the previous slide. Ultimate Weapon will be extracted and repurposed as a 4-man battle/trial, while the La Habrea battle will be repurposed as a story quest instance battle. So they're really changing this up. So I'm assuming that Praetorium is going to end after Nero. So Nero is going to be like the final boss of Praetorium. Interesting. I'm assuming you still won't be able to skip cutscenes. In a nutshell, many adjustments will be made to the dungeons, and through patches 6.1 to 6.5, the level of these changes will be applied to 4.x content. That would be Stormblood? Yeah, that'd be Stormblood. Next up, the next 10 years of Final Fantasy XIV, Future Concept 2, preparing for years of service to come, Final Fantasy XIV's first graphical update. Okay, let's have a look at it. The reason why it's the first, which implies there'll be a second or third throughout the 11 years, there are unimaginable amount of graphics resources created, and doing everything is impossible, so they are going to do it level by level. 4K Grapes. Making it 4K Grapes is going to repeat the nightmare that appeared during 1.0. For those of you that didn't watch the No Clip documentary, this is to give an idea. There were like these barrels with flowers, which let's just call them flower barrels, whatever. And these barrels had so many goddamn polygons. They had more polygons than some of the characters, okay? Like, the artists who worked on those barrels of flowers, those were the best barrels of flowers you've ever seen in any video game ever. The problem is, you put one of them suckers down, and everything else in that zone is like, that's all your, like... That's all the budget that you have for visuals in that zone. It's like this one flower pot. Like, there's these nightmare stories of people going near these pots and just like everything slows down to a crawl. So yeah, people are expecting graphics like Horizon Forbidden West. Don't dream too far. While that's not impossible, they're going to end up sacrificing a lot of accessibility for this if they go that route. So they won't, and don't overshoot your dreams. Plan for implementation in 7.0. Development and preparation ongoing until expansion releases, aiming for screen-wide aesthetic appeal suited to a multiplayer environment. Animation and lighting system updates also planned. New graphics will not be comparable to those of standalone titles. Minimum operating specifications will also change as 7.0 will try to accommodate as broad a range of hardware specs as possible. This is particularly important at this point in time because you're not going to be getting any new hardware now. Like, forget about it, dude. It's impossible. It's impossible. You'll have better luck winning the goddamn lottery than scoring a good GPU. Good luck with that. That is insane. Since Yoshi-p makes this very important, we shall comply as well. New graphics will not be comparable to those standalone titles. You guys get the idea. So don't expect like whole full AAA visual. And it's like, to be honest, I personally was someone that I was not a huge fan of the visuals of 14 when I started playing. Coming over from World of Warcraft, which is much more of a cartoony, hyper-stylized game, the halfway point between being more realistic while at the same time not getting there, or Final Fantasy 14, felt weird to me. It felt very weird for the longest time, but it's one of those things where you play it for like, say, I don't know, 5 hours or something, and after the fifth hour, it doesn't matter anymore. Like, it's just like, it starts actually looking good to the point where even 5.3, the scenes where they really zoom in on the Crystal Exarch and you see pixels the size of your thumb, didn't bother me at all. Loved it. Amazing. Because they're like, we don't care what this looks like. We're going to provide you with the best cinematic experience possible with these cutscenes. And it doesn't matter if you're getting like hyper-realistic visuals or if you can just literally see the pixels. The only thing that matters is look at these characters. Look at the emotion on these characters. Look at the emotion that is taking place in the cinematic. So if you're somebody who's struggling, like you see a video of 14, right? And you're like, oh, I don't like that art style. It's too weepy. Let me tell you right now. Watching videos does not do it justice than from watching it in motion while you are actually interacting with the characters themselves. So it gets way better. And it seems like they're improving it for 7.0, which is good. PS4 support will still be available for 7.0, and graphics/display option can be customized to a degree. I actually think that this is a bit of a mistake because, look, I love the PlayStation 4. I still have my PlayStation 4 Pro, but it's like things are moving forward. But I also understand that they would be removing a huge chunk of the player base if they remove PlayStation 4 support. So I get it. I understand. But yeah, it is what it is. You have to balance things out. Like, you got to realize this is the same for every single MMO. Like, you have an established player base. You can't just like leave them behind as you move forward. They already left the PlayStation 3 behind, you know? Because this, I know that some people don't remember this. When this game started development, it still worked on PlayStation 3. Okay? Realm Reborn and Heavensward, they worked on PlayStation 3. I think Stormblood was the first one. It's like, okay, we got to move forward, okay? Forget about the PlayStation 3. It sucks. It is what it is. So this is what they show you. And I was like, damn. You can see the pores in and everything. That might be a little bit too much detail for an MMO, if you think about it. Which is why they're saying, I don't think this is what we're aiming for. This won't be realistic. Photorealism is not the goal. First month of testing sample character visuals. So while it's not the same quality as the other one, it is much better than what we have right now. The high resolution textures and the shaders, they make one hell of a difference. One hell of a difference. Very impressive stuff. Then we also have the Derplander here from Endwalker, which again looks really good. Lots of improvements with shaders and, you know, the higher resolution textures. You got Y'shtola in here. Very nice. Particularly like the changes in the ears here, because you don't really see, with the higher resolution textures, you no longer really see the pixels like you see in here. Like, YouTube's going to butcher this most likely, so you guys are not going to be able to really get the full picture of what I'm talking about. But yeah, very different. We have a Roagden bro here. Dude, this Roagden looks rugged as hell. Like, look at the added detail on the eyes here. Very nice. Very nice. I like what I'm seeing. It's like it's improving the visuals greatly without necessarily making it unattainable. Although, I'll tell you right now, considering how the PlayStation 5 already runs the game, if you put it at 4K, because like I play this on both PC and PlayStation 5. The way the game runs, if you actually put it on native 4K, it is rough. And if you add all of this on top of that, it's going to run a lot rougher on PlayStation 5 unless they do a lot of optimization. So I think that PlayStation 5 users wouldn't even be able to see these visual improvements. I don't think they will. Like this, we're talking strictly PC for this stuff. This is just my opinion. Unless, like I said, unless they do a wide round of optimization, that would definitely be needed. Anyway, character appearance updates, primary features and goals, higher resolution textures, hair, skin, gear, etc. Improved material quality, skin, metal, fabric, that's good. Better lighting and shadow effects, especially for players' shadows. Overall appearance of player characters will be altered as little as possible. Will be applied to old NPCs where possible from 7.x onwards. Testing for additional improvements will continue in the future. Not every gear will be updated for patch 7.0 because the enormous amount of current gear available right now. Equipment released from 7.0 will have upgraded graphics applied to it, and minority will be given to glamour or equipment that are frequently used. It will take years. So what he's saying here is we are going to add this to that stupid Eureka armor that all of you guys have that is glowy and shiny. That's going to get this shiny brand new treatment. All the other armors, not so much. Hey, I expect my Rathalos armor to be done right, Yoshi. Okay? Rathalos armor needs to take priority over everything else. It's that simple, okay? Fix Rathalos armor. It will take years. Anyway, NPC characters and every NPC characters will have the upgraded graphics applied onto them. You will encounter NPCs with graphic differences between them, so please don't make too much of a fuss when this disorientation happens in the future. Clipping issues will still happen due to the limitations of the physics engines for an online game. So you got some map visuals. This is in, this is the crafter area of, because I remember, because I did the matchmaking quest here of the miner, which is really, really cool. But this is the crafter area of Old Charlian. Oh, that looks way cooler with all the lighting and stuff. Yep, looking good. Additional lighting points. Improved shadow resolution. Not even just that, but there's also improved saturation of colors as well. Much more vibrancy, which is really, really cool. I'm assuming that this also has to do with the lights coming in from the windows and that it's like reflecting, right? Because you have some reds in here that aren't really taken into account right now. But hot damn, that looks good. That is a beefy improvement right there. And then what we got? We got... Personal map visuals. This is Thavnair. Is it Thavnair or is it like that dungeon in Stormblood? I think it's Thavnair. So currently, they're not really... This is actually supposed to be metal. Because if you look here, this is like golden. Wow. This reminds me of that showcase that they did for like The Order however many years ago, where they showed you like the different types of materials and meshes that they were using for the game. And it looks like they're updating all of the metallic work to be more reflective, which is really, really cool, but also extremely more graphical intensive. So like I'm saying, I'm not sure how they're going to get this to run on a PlayStation 5, the way that the game is already running on PlayStation 5. Then we have, what is this? More environmental objects. Dude, this is the most impressive one so far. This is the most impressive one. Because, like, look at these steps. These are basic steps. Not really a big deal. Whatever. Right? Basic steps. And then you look over here. You have the additional barrels. You have the way that they just deconstructed all of the steps. Like, this is... There's no way they can do this for the whole game, right? I mean, assuming that they're pulling from a library of assets... All you'd have to do is like update the assets and it should fix it. But I think that you'll still see some areas in the world that are going to be like, they're going to look weird when they apply this passage to the assets, I feel like. But this to me is the most impressive one so far. Because I mean, look at the difference from these steps to these steps. And again, it's just like a little detail, but these are things that tremendously change immersion when you are going through the game. And you guys know me, I'm a big sucker when it comes to immersion and stuff. And there's even like more items in here. Like you can see this. You can see additional barrels and stuff, and like some barrels here and some barrels here, and additional textures in the sand. And also the little rock boulder thing going on there with some grass. Yeah, these, like, look at how much life these add to the area. Oh, dude, I can't wait. I can't friggin' wait for these updates, dude. I'm so friggin' hyped. Okay, what else we got? Time to go outside and touch some grass. What? No way, dude. No way. There's no way you can do this in an MMO. I think they're being a little bit too ambitious with this one. I don't think we'll actually see this one come to fruition. Because again, remember, this is testing samples of map visuals. I'm not sure that they're guaranteeing that this is what it's going to look like. This is actually insane. And there's going to be a lot of computers that quite simply are not going to be able to handle this. There's too much detail in these plants, especially if they sway with the wind. Like, there's just way too much detail in these plants to... It's too much. It's just straight up too much. But I don't know, dude. If they can pull it off, it'll blow my goddamn mind. Background visuals updates, primary features and goals. Additional lighting points, improved visual quality, depth, immersion. Higher resolution shadows, increased movement, decreased flickering effects. Improved textures, metals, fabrics, etc. More and better auto-generated greenery. Increased resolution, variety, etc. Possible improvements to fog and other ambient effects currently being tested. Upgrades will be tuned to the maximum extent that performance allows. Yeah, pay attention to that, because PS5 is already struggling under the weight of 4K. Future concept number 3, continuing to provide regular updates on an appropriate schedule. Main scenario updates, patch 6.1 through 6.5. Somehow further Ildebrand adventures, patch 6.1 through... I still need to go back and do Ildebrand. I haven't done the entirety of Ildebrand. I'm still in, like, Realm Reborn. I'm very ashamed to admit. Tataru's Grand Endeavor side quest series. That's going to be coming 6.1 through 6.5. Hildebrand was randomly summoned / seen in patch 5.3. Maybe 6.3? Patch 6.1 roadmap plan major updates. Myths of the Realm 1. Alliance Raid. Crystalline Conflict. This is the new PvP push the payload mechanic. I'm curious to try that out. Arkasodara tribe quests and dailies. Arkasodara is like the Matanga, right? Anyway, Dragon Songs reprise, new ultimate duty. I haven't even completed Savage yet. Yoshi-p, please. Ultima's Bane Unreal. I'm hoping that I'll be able to convince my Savage team to do some Unreals as well. That'll be cool. Trust system for Realm Reborn, patch 2.0, main scenario dungeons. New calling card style UI, name to be determined. What's going to happen with squadrons? I guess they're going to get rid of squadrons then, huh? I mean, not get rid of them, but, you know, they're going to exist in their current state, and that's that. It's kind of a shame. I really like the squadron system. I think it's as cool as it is to do trusts with the Scions. I think it would be even cooler to just, like, be able to build your own team of squadrons and actually just adapt squadrons to be, you know, the people that you take with you through Realm Reborn. I think it'd be cool if there was just like, not just through Realm Reborn, but through everything. Because, you know, it's cool to play with the main characters, but it would be even cooler for me to make like my own team. So I wish that they could work that system out in tandem with trusts so that you'd get squadrons and trusts. And people that want to use trusts and like new players that probably just use trusts, that people that actually have squadrons. Because like I actually customized my squadron a little bit. I've got like the tanks that I want. There's like a friggin' I have a Lalafell tank and I have like my healers and they wear like the same Animos hat that I do. It's cool. I like that. New calling card style UI, name to be determined. This is the stuff from the PvP. New hairstyles for Rothgar, Imperium, Ishgard Housing, custom deliveries, Emelians. Okay, I definitely need to jump in on this instantly. I'm still catching up to all the custom deliveries, filling out all the little hearts. I've just recently done Zloe, so that was cool. That's the only reason I have like crafters and miners is to do these little things and beast tribes and stuff like that. I don't actually do any kind of like meaningful crafting. Trust systems for this is for 6.2. Trust systems for 2.x main scenario dungeons. Trust systems for 2 to 3 Heavensward main scenario dungeons. New weapon and You guys think we'll be able to do the vault alongside Best Elf? That'd be awesome. Oof. New weapon enhancements, new Criterion dungeon with variable difficulty for 1 to... Is this their answer to Mythic Plus? Oh my god! Yes! 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 Criterion dungeons. Variable difficulty for 1 to 4. What do you mean 1 to 4 players? I mean, this isn't the deep dungeon. Island Sanctuary debuts. So Island Sanctuary comes out on 6.2. Good. Plus Pandemonium, Faux Hollows, Other Trials, and more. So 6.2 also comes with Pandemonium 2.0, I would imagine. Pandemonium 2.0, I mean the second tier of Pandemonium. But dude, Criterion, this is like the biggest thing you could have done for me. Whatever the Criterion dungeon is, that's exactly what I want. Especially if it's like, how are they going to work it out for 1 to 4 players? That is weird. That is very weird, but I'm very curious, dude. The Criterion dungeon, that's what I'm looking for. That right there. That's my thing. That was the thing that I've been saying nonstop. I want that Criterion dungeon so bad that I can taste it. As well as expansion of Glamour, Talks, and more. Patch 6.3 roadmap, plan major updates. Trust system for the remaining Heavensward main scenario dungeons. Deep Dungeon Series number 3. See, exactly. So Criterion is not the deep dungeon. Like I was looking at it almost looks like a deep dungeon thing, but no, Criterion is not a deep dungeon. It's something completely different. I can't wait. Then we got Ultimate Duty number 5. So we're getting 2 ultimates in this one. God damn. I've never even completed a single goddamn ultimate. We got to start working on that, dude. I gotta whip my raid team into shape. We gotta guys, listen. We gotta get on this. We gotta do it. Gotta get done. Gotta do what we gotta do. Island Sanctuary updates. So more updates to the Island Sanctuary plus Myths of the Realm, Faux Hollows, Other Trials, and more. All right, that's the one that I already saw. What's this? Trust system for all Stormblood main scenario dungeons. This is 6.4/6.5. Criterion dungeons 2 and 3. Damn, we're going to be waiting a while after the first Criterion dungeon. Additional area for Island Sanctuary. Plus the conclusion to Pandemonium. Further Myths of the Realm, Faux Hollows of the Trials, and more. More plans for 6.4 and 6.5 are being made as we speak. Patch schedule announcement. The major patch cycle. Previously, 1 major patch every 3.5 months. Going forward, 1 major patch every 4 months. Well, I mean, we do have 2 additional classes, so all of that stuff needs to be taken into account. Please allow us 1 extra week each for implementation and fine-tuning. 1 extra week will also be added for summer and New Year's holidays. Dude, anything that improves developer quality of life, I'm all for that. Like seriously, that's one of the biggest problems with Blizzard. One of the main reasons why I did not support the remaster of Diablo 2 is precisely because of the way that they are treating their people. They're not treating their workers right. Their workers are being mishandled to ridiculous levels. So anything that improves the lives of developers, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. That's me. Like, I know that some people are going to have different takes on that, but whatever. So, number of quests, types of content, jobs to balance, bosses, cutscenes, blah, 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 in patch 3.3 series. 3.3 would have been Heavensward. 60 quests, 9 types of content, 11 jobs to balance, 17 bosses, cutscenes, 2 hours and a half of cutscenes. Quest word count, 253,000. UI system word tasks for the UI team, items, okay. And then in patch 5.3 series, 20 more quests, 1 more type of content, 18 jobs to balance, 23 bosses, almost 4.5 hours of cutscenes. Jesus, so many more word counts. Yeah, okay, yeah. I think, see, this is the thing. This is a man who is being a team who is being reasonable about their development objectives. It's like, look, here's what we were doing back in Heavensward. And sure, we could keep doing stuff every 3.5 months. Here's what we're doing since 5.3. Maybe this isn't reasonable anymore. Maybe we either get more people or we, extend how long it's going to take in between us actually putting out this content, which I think it's smart. I think it's smart. I think that, a team who is being properly managed, which is good. Then we got here, even as we tackle new challenges, we will continue to deliver plenty of updates on a regular schedule. Join us as we embark upon the next 10 years of Final Fantasy XIV. I am super excited, like I said, super excited about this. Okay, so we have housing now. I'm not really going to be talking too much about housing. There's going to be a lottery system. We already know about this, but housing is not something that particularly rustles my jimmies, so to say. I'm not super excited about it. Purchase system distribution. We'll consider making a few wards first time, first serve if there's a strong demand. No. Make everything lottery. Make everything lottery. No, none of this incentivizing people to just like be complete friggin' no-lifers, camping out signs. None of this. Lottery. Lottery for everybody. Everybody gets the lottery. That's what I think about that. And we have here, free trial resumes Tuesday, February 22nd. Welcome back, Sprouts. Let's friggin' go. Get your friends, get your family, get everybody hooked up on Final Fantasy XIV. You know it's worth it. You know it's worth it. Letter from the producer, live letter, 69? It is 69. This is going to be happening Friday, March 4th at 3 a.m. Wait. Whoa, dude, it's actually going to be a good time for GMT? Okay, we will actually live stream this one then. If this is 11 a.m. GMT, I'm 1,000% live streaming this. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts about it, guys. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I will live stream it. It's too bad. Sucks for everybody else. Listen, I've had this for 2 live letters straight, so I don't even want to hear anybody cry about it. Okay? Anybody that cries about this, sucks to be you. You can tell I'm salty. I'm just a little bit, just a smidge salty. Then we have, this is like merch stuff. So we got the soundtrack. We got some artwork. That's cool. Oh, this one in particular. This gorgeous artwork. I love this. This looks friggin' amazing. We have the Tokyo Cafe. Gaijin went to the Tokyo Cafe. He bought this for Yuna. The Sense Party 68th producer live letter. We'll see you. The other part of this is going to be like a big lore questions and answers. If you guys want me to give you guys my take on that, I might do a separate video talking about it. Let me know in the comment section of this video. But for now, I'm going to be calling it here. I've already extended this much longer than I initially intended, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thank you all very much for watching. This is fantastic news all around. Obviously, like I said, the thing that has me the most excited about all of this is most definitely the Criterion Dungeons. I'm super curious to see what that content is going to be like. So yeah, I hope that they deliver on that. Obviously, I'm also excited for the next Deep Dungeon and the raids and the friggin' Alliance raids, all of that stuff. But also, interestingly enough, the Island Sanctuary. I think that to me is going to be more interesting than housing, because housing has like the mandatory is like, oh, you got to log back in every 45 days, which I'm just not a big fan of that. Like, one of the things that I really like about 14 is that I can take a break whenever I want. And I don't want to be tied down to a house where I'm going to feel bad. It's like, oh, I can't really take a break because like every 45 days I got to log in to do the thing like that. That's a system that I'm not particularly keen on engaging with. But Island Sanctuary, on the other hand, I'm assuming that's going to be like my own instance thing. So I'm excited about that too. But either way, fantastic friggin' news. And hopefully I'll be able to actually live stream the next step or this live letter, because I really loved when I did it, because I've live streamed the live letter once, but it just destroyed me for the following day. Like, I'm talking, I looked like a goddamn zombie. I wasn't even able to sleep. It was that bad. But yeah, thank you all very much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this, leave it up with a like, subscribe, bell notification icon, all that jazz, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay strong, stay safe, peace out.